Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
Hi folks, we're back! We are officially making regular videos again here on Geekvolution as daily as we can.
Which is completely different from how we were unofficially making regular videos while you were on hiatus.
That's right. No, we were not making regular videos. Not for us. Not for us. There are channels who regularly put out the output, the input. They put a lot of they take a lot of input to put out a lot of output that we were doing, but you know, we were averaging maybe a video every week and a half to 2 weeks or so. But you know, we got some spoiler casts in there. Yeah. And I gotta rewind out right after.
Well, and I forget that there's stuff that we shot that hasn't gone up yet.
Yeah, yeah, and you probably don't even realize just how much of that there is. But that stuff will come out over the next few weeks. So I have been on hiatus, as a lot of you folks know, in order to write a novel. And Eric, I finished my first draft of my book in about 8 weeks. Which I'm really excited about and really proud of. I don't think I've ever written anything that long that quickly, but I just kind of...
Because it's like 100,000 words?
It's real close to 110,000. And my goal was 100,000. So that's nice. When I'm working on revision, I've got plenty of room to cut and stuff, so that'll be good. But anyway, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to turn out pretty well. It's really ambitious. It's different from anything I've done before. Should I fill out the premise real quick? Because I promised people that when I was finished, I would tell them what it is.
Okay, sure.
So maybe, and I won't take up the whole video doing this, but in case you're interested...
It's about a guy who reads a lot of comic books. About a character named Kron.
It hits real close to home, and Eric will tell you, every time he walked upstairs as I was writing, I was real teary-eyed, because it was so, you know, I could really relate to my protagonist. No, my book has nothing to do with that.
K-R-A-W or Kron.
Captain. but anyway, no, my book is about people turning into personified food. So there's a conceit at the beginning where everybody suddenly, in just the United States, suddenly turns into walking and talking fast food or junk food or processed food. And they have like cartoon arms and legs where they have like 4 fingers instead of 5, and they all turn into something that has something to do with their personality or their names. So I'm able to do a lot of play on words and things without being too horribly cutesy about it, just because I made sure and built that into the conceit. So it's a consistent phenomenon that people are aware of and noticing. And it is, I keep pitching it this way, it's gonna read kind of like a parody of or a pastiche of World War Z. So it's kind of like in oral history, except it's not all interviews of people talking to one guy like World War Z is. And I actually read World War Z again in preparation for it. And there's probably, I'm sure I threw some stuff in there that I would not have begun to think about if I wasn't reading World War Z. And that gave me kind of a sense of perspective and scope. I usually like to write about a singular protagonist or from one person's perspective. And in this, I went with 31 different documents. So some of them are journal entries, and some of them are Facebook posts, and some of them are like transcripts of TV news. One of them is like a late night talk show conversation with a guy who starts a game show trying to get contestants to figure out who what kinds of food people are based on their silhouettes and things like that. And I do certainly a lot of social commentary about all kinds of different subjects throughout it, and I guess I shouldn't talk too much more about it because I'd like people to get it, you know, when I finally get it out.
And then at the end, but this happens.
Then this happens, yeah. But it's kind of, you know, it reads like a bunch of different short stories or like kind of character pieces. You know, some of them read more like a straightforward narrative, and some of them are real kind of internalized, and it's it's comedy and it's not comedy. You know, it's very
black comedy.
Yeah, certainly. And there are. It's gonna be interesting to see what kinds of things people think are funny and what they don't, because there are things that I was taking real seriously while I was writing it, and then I go back and I look at it again and I'm like, oh, but with the absurdity of what it is, it gets so silly. Like one of the big things that, and there's certainly through lines in the piece, so there's a lot of callbacks to different things that people have brought up before, because they're all living in the same world, and so it's sort of like a vignette thing. And then there are places toward the end where more things start to come together, and so you have this serial killer called the Fry Box Killer. He's a box of fries, and he takes all of his fries out, and he starts murdering people because he feels empty inside. And he felt that way before he became a food person, and this is kind of his way of coping with that in a real perverse way. And that's a thing that keeps coming back and isn't dealt with in just one entry. It comes back a couple times, and it is kind of the darkest thing. And there's a lot of cannibalism, because people are food, and so food people are eating each other, and human people are eating food people, and there's this, and there's certainly you know, like some bigotry between the two like races of people, of food people versus humans, and even, you know, some infighting with some of the food people, and there's like one big major cult of human people and a big major cult of food people, or humans and food people, you know, respectively. But anyway, so that's what the book is about, and I'm going to be working on publication here soon as I'm revising, and I'm going to take a month before I look at it again. That is a piece of advice that Stephen King always gives. I've never given myself that much time away from a thing before I finally sit down and look at it again. I think he's right about it. I'd like to work on it that way. But I've got potential publishing prospects, so I'm going to look into that. Ultimately, it could end up being a self-published gig. We'll find out. I'm not sure yet. I haven't been published in a long time, and the house I was published under with my first book is no longer around, so I have to kind of start from scratch. But anyway, so let me use that to segue into Patreon. I'd like to talk a little bit about our Patreon, because we're not full-on overhauling, but we're adding some things, and I wanted to mention that this month I'm going to be, and I haven't done this yet, I'm going to be sending out packages as I usually do monthly, except I haven't for the last couple months because we've been on a hiatus and I haven't had anything to send. I send out packages to our top tier, our $15 tier. We don't have any big honkin' really high dollar tier. $15 is the high one, and of course you can give more if you really want to, but that's the highest for stuff we give out. And the thing we give out for the $15 tier, besides all the other stuff that you get with the other tiers, is a package that contains anything I have written that month for the channel, and I signed them and I send them to you, and they are you know, they're rewinds and they're counting Crypto Freaks when I'm working on that show, and different sorts of things. And I don't know why I'm looking at you, because you know all this, but I'm just being respectful. Eric is being really polite and letting me explain all this. But anyway, some months it's more than other months. It just depends on how much I have managed to get written, and it can be kind of interesting to look at those, because they're my raw scripts, and sometimes as I'm recording they change a little bit, so you can see what the changes are, and any mistakes I might have made and that kind of thing. And the folks that get those seem to like them, and sometimes I'll put other cool goodies in there. I'll give you extra comics and things. And this month I'm going to send out the first few chapters of the book, completely.
The rough draft version.
Yeah, completely rough and unedited and not looked at again since I initially wrote it. I mean, I wrote straight through. I've not gone back and revised anything, so there might be continuity mistakes, there's bound to be grammatical stuff, it's bound to get majorly overhauled, and this will not be the thing that you see later on when I get the book out. And so for those of you that think that sounds interesting and you'd like to see what I'm looking at, you will be some of the first people that get to look at it. My wife hasn't looked at any of it yet. Eric hasn't looked at any of it yet. I have sent some chapters to exactly one person, and that is someone connected to the publishing prospect that I spoke of earlier. I've only shown it to one person, who loved it, by the way, so that's good. But anyway, so if you are interested in that, you can sign up for the $15 tier on Patreon, and feel free to do that just for this month and get yourself off of it afterwards if you don't want to keep getting scripts. But but everybody, of course, is absolutely welcome to do that, and I will send out as many of those as we get signups for. There's no cutoff for that. I also want to talk about the rest of stuff going on with Patreon and remind people what we do there, because as you folks probably know, if you watch other YouTube channels, everybody's revenues are down on YouTube. We're all suffering for it with the YouTube ad boycott, and some channels less than others. If you're not a real political channel and there's not certain kinds of keywords that are associated with your videos, you're probably not being as hurt as some other channels, and so we're fortunate in that respect, but revenues are still down by quite a bit.
Yeah, seeing what's gone down, I can't imagine what political channels are down.
Yeah, we are anywhere between a quarter and half of our revenues a month down right now, and so I certainly could use people's help with Patreon. I also understand folks that have been supporting other channels that have it worse than we do. I'm sure every channel is asking for this, and so we completely understand if you can't do any extra than you are in just watching the videos, and of course, as always, we really appreciate that, and that is enough. But for those of you that are interested in helping us out a little bit more, and if you're curious to know specifically what we need revenue for besides just, well, we're down from what we usually get, Batman Year is coming up, and I'm a little bit in, I don't know how I'm going to pay for everything kind of mode. So it certainly will go to things for the channel, both things for review and props and costume things and stuff that we need to make Batman Year work. And I won't say any more than this, but also things that could be happening beyond Batman Year. I'm really looking ahead right now, and we got some plans in the works. We got some plans, folks, for some really super cool stuff that's going to be difficult to pay for. And
it's all going to Cap. If you don't like me, it's not coming to me. You're not paying for my cigarettes. It's all going to him and the channel, I promise.
So I do give Eric a cut, but as far as Patreon goes, it does go back into the channel, and you don't have to worry about Eric spending your money on cigarettes. Yes, exactly. So in an effort to sweeten the deal a little bit, Eric and I are starting a new Patreon-only series. Now, nobody panic, it's not a review show, and I have always promised, and I mentioned this in another video recently, that we will not ever do review content like reading something or watching something and doing a review in any form, or a commentary just for the Patreon subscribers with some kind of a paywall. What we're doing on Patreon is a show that we could not do here. It is called...
Very different.
It is very different. It's called Geekvolution After Dark. It is a very loose, late-night kind of talk show that's just me and Eric kind of shooting the breeze together. And it is... It is structured in the sense that each of us brings some topics with us that the other person doesn't know is going to come, but we like to challenge each other a little bit on that show. We've already shot the first episode. Some of it gets really silly. Some of it can be kind of serious topics that we wouldn't usually bring up on the channel. They're not always even exactly geeky. We can get a little bit personal on that show.
We're just talking about stuff.
We can, and we can get kind of we can get kind of deep and involved in things that we, again, just usually wouldn't talk about.
We even talk about
on the channel.
Politics and a little bit of real world stuff.
It is not censored at all, so we're not careful about what we say. There could be some things that some people even would find a little bit controversial. We will tell you our personal opinions on, again, things that we usually wouldn't weigh in on. And so if that sounds interesting to you, go over to Patreon right now. Anybody.
Captain Logan swear.
Yeah, and we will swear a little bit here and there on that show.
I mean, I swear a lot, because I just talk like I normally talk.
Yeah, exactly. And some people don't know this, but I am known to, casual swearing every so often.
More so when you're around people that also swear.
That's right, yeah, because I'm easily given to peer pressure. It's, but anyway, so...
You wouldn't believe how much he smokes now.
No, I do not smoke. So if you would like to see Geekvolution After Dark, patrons of any tier level are able to see that. It is $2 a month is the bottom baseline level, and for that $2, you get most of the stuff that you can get on Patreon.
Well, and we didn't say this. It's each episode is an hour, and it's going to come out twice a month.
Twice a month, yes. So you'll get that. You'll get access to any other extra stuff that we put up. Do they
get retroactive, like videos you've put up before? Do those stay up for Patreon people?
Yeah, they sure do.
Oh man, because there's a video with Dan Torrey that you should all go watch.
Yeah, anything we've ever put there, you can go back to the old posts on Patreon, and the links are there. And
was that Captain Logan, Eric, Kate, Dan?
Yes. Yeah, Captain Eric, Kate, Dan. And we did that shortly after you came in, and there are words that you'll not only never hear me say on the channel, you won't even hear me say there. They're so lewd, I still can't even do it on Patreon.
When we discussed that in the first episode of After Dark.
That's true, we did, yeah. So, continuity. So anyway, for that $2, you get Geekvolution After Dark. You get a monthly live hour chat on Google Plus with me. We usually have about 6 to 10 people that come out for that, and
sometimes there's special guests. Sometimes I'm there.
That's right. Willow has been there.
Does Rasco show there?
Rasco's been. I can't remember if Dan's been there. Rasco's been there. So anyway, you get that. So After Dark, the monthly live chats, and any extra material that we happen to post, and then other tiers will get you things in addition to that, like being part of the Rewind selection board. Occasionally, I will put up a poll of 5 movies and let the selection board help me decide what things to talk about. For the $10 tier, you can request a yearly commentary. We are about to start working on some of those that we got from last year. And eventually, let me say, I would like to start doing a tier where people can request full-blown rewinds, but I still have quite a few from the last few years that I just have not gotten to from that were requested with donation, and I don't want to start doing that again because folks haven't gotten their haven't gotten their rewinds yet. So hopefully down the road I can catch up, and then we'll be able to do that. So that's the whole deal with Patreon. We would really appreciate your support if you have any interest in that. And for each of the $50 thresholds, Eric and I will sit down and do a live commentary on a bunch of episodes of something.
We did this with The Tick.
Yes, and that's all we've done it with so far. But if we get back to the 250 mark again, we've had a few folks leave, which is understandable because I haven't been making a lot of content in the last couple months. But if we get back to that threshold, I won't make it 300. We can get back to the 250 and we'll do it again. And then whoever puts in that last donation, or maybe we'll even let people put their heads together this time, you guys can decide what we will marathon, and we'll do that live for you. The Tick thing was a rousing success. People seem to really enjoy that, and that was...
Some people 3 times.
That was... yeah, we had people go back and apparently rewatch it, but we had a lot of fun with that. We watched the entirety of Patrick Warburton's Tick in a single sitting, and that was really fun. So anyway, that's it about Patreon, and now we'd like to talk just a little bit about what the channel is going to look like from here on out, so, or at least for now. We'll see how things go. So we're not coming back with a big giant reboot like we did last time. Basically, the news is we're gonna put out things as often as humanly possible. We both have a lot going on. I've got 2 kids. I have other projects, but Geekvolution, of course, is my bread and butter and is the thing that I am going to most prioritize. So the main thing I want to say is I'm going to prioritize Superhero Rewind over everything else. So I'm going to be working on that on the weekends, and everything else will take a back seat to Rewind, with the exception of Batman Year, because that's real time sensitive and is going to start in October.
Ticking clock.
It is. It is. That
every day he goes to sleep and the number's like, did.
You will find that will be foreshadowing for a plot thing in the Batman Year project. I'm still not even going to tell you what the actual name of that show is. But anyway, so that is going to start in October. It's going to be a weekly show. It's going to be a 50-week thing. And I don't want to say anything else about that yet. Batmania is going to happen just before that, as a lead-up to Batman Year. We have already announced that before, but in case you missed it, that's going to be Eric and I doing commentaries like we did with Marvel Mania for every single Batman movie, or movie with Batman in the title.
And unlike with the Marvel movies, we'll be doing all of the Batman animated films. We will not be doing the Justice League films or things like that, but we will be doing anything that's got Batman in the title that technically counts as a movie.
And it'll be real close to the same number of the Marvel movies. We did 46 of those. I think there's 30 something.
Yeah, it was great because we looked at it like, oh, there's only like 29. That's not so bad. And then it's like, oh, but there's all these animated things we forgot about. Okay.
There will be things in that list that we've never seen before.
Yeah, the specifically the kids Batman stuff.
The Unlimited.
Batman Unlimited, which is the costume that Rebirth stole.
I guess a little bit, yeah. So, what is the channel going to look like weekly? Primarily, we want
Pandemonium.
Absolute insanity. First of all, I should mention that most of what you'll see on the channel will be me and Eric. I will have some solo things, especially with written things like Rewind, but Eric and I are tag teaming and going to be doing quite a few things on our own, or together. So weekly, he and I are going to commit to trying to do, and again, we want to be really careful not to promise things that we can't give you, but
all of this comes with try to do.
Yes, so we are going to weekly-ish bring you at least one comic vault and at least one movie review of some kind, or a commentary. So Eric and I have a day set aside to do comics, and we have a day set aside to do movies. And on that day, if there's a new movie we need to go see, we'll do a How We Felt About. If there's not, we'll either do a commentary or we'll do a He Made Me Watch. We already have a couple of those in the can right now, so we're a little bit ahead there. But that's the deal there. So we can't promise weekly He Made Me Felt, or He Made Me Felt. He made me feel about. He
made me out of felt.
And we're not necessarily going to go to a movie every single week. We're going to go to the big things that we most care about, or just the big things that make the most sense for the channel. Big sci-fi things, big superhero things, or things.
Sorry, Despicable Me 3.
Yeah, we're just not going to review that. And we have to really pick and choose.
And the vaults will be similar to He Made Me Watch, where we're going to alternate picks.
Right.
For who's picking what we're going to read next. So that's a thing. We've done the first one of those.
Yep. That will come out this week probably. So
you gotta get reading.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I do too. I have to read it as well.
So anyway, so as I said, primarily me and Eric. You will see some of the folks that we've worked with in the past when we were touting up the 7 come in and out of things, but for all intents and purposes, we're not exactly the full-blown network channel we were before. And anyway, some folks have noticed that Steve's been talking about leaving the channel. Nobody panic. He's not upset with us or anything. We're still friends. We're still hanging out and talking. And again, I
was talking to Steve today.
He will come in here and there and do videos with us, so don't worry. There's not a feud or anything. There's not any kind of drama. It's not interesting, okay? But it's kind of like the same thing with when Vince left. They just kind of going our separate ways to a degree because our lives are diverging.
At least on the channel.
As far as the channel goes, yeah, exactly. But again, you will certainly see him every now and again, and he would like to do more vaults and commentaries and things like that. So.
He's busy fighting crime from his millionaire lair.
You're not supposed to tell anybody about that. No. I'm going to have to cut that part out. So, folks have also asked me, I know this is long, but we just had a lot of things to cover. Folks have also asked me about Primetime Crisis. As you saw last semester, I guess, last half
quarter.
Half of the seasons of
what is it in business?
The superhero shows.
Quarters.
It's quarters in business.
Is it quarters?
Like quarterly earnings.
Yeah.
I had stopped doing weekly shows because there are too many, and some of them were damaging my brain cells. So, and this will sound contradictory because binging some of them might not be the smartest idea, but at least I won't have them floating around in my head constantly waiting for the next episode to happen.
I'll just come home from work, you'll just be like frothing from the mouth.
So my plan with Crisis is I'm going to do season overviews sporadically of most of the superhero shows, and I'm not going to be too terribly concerned about getting them out before the new seasons start. We should mention that we are focusing primarily on things that are over and are complete. So we've been getting a lot of requests to do fewer like new comics, and we are going to keep doing the pool party monthly, but to do fewer of, you know, just new comics just when they come out and we don't have a complete piece, and more sit down and review a whole story, and that's what we'd like to primarily focus on. And so
that's why we're starting Cerberus.
So
we're not starting Cerberus.
So
that's 300 issues.
To that end, with that spirit in mind, I want to look at seasons as much of the whole piece as they are, and obviously there's still, you know, more to tell, and there was stuff before, but more or less we're trying to tell stories an entire season, so I've got more to sink my teeth into. Eric and I are still doing Gotham. We haven't decided if that will keep doing in episodes because it's just so much fun. That might be the one exception. We're not sure yet. But as far as other things, you might see Eric join me with some of that stuff. Certainly,
he really wants to make me watch some of that stuff.
Some of it, yeah. Well, just because it would be so much fun to talk about.
I love the idea of jumping on wherever you left off in Legends.
Not even dealing with the first season.
Not even going back to the beginning of second season. Just wherever you left off in Legends, that I'll jump on. All
right, what do you think? You didn't miss all that much, sir. Here's what happened and why it didn't make sense. But anyway, Eric will join me for some of that stuff. I'm going to do quite a bit of it solo, and if you know, some of those shows. You
should just do one like you did that one Supergirl episode where I don't watch any of it.
And I just talk to you about it, at you, yeah. But anyway, so I can't promise every show because there are so many of them, and we're getting more and more of them. With new superhero shows that happen, we may do How We Felt Abouts for pilots. I do think we should keep doing some of that.
We'll most likely do that for Inhumans because that's going to a theater.
True, and with Krypton when that finally happens.
Oh, is that also going to theater?
No, I'm just saying
just the
that's
pilot.
One I definitely want to at least weigh in on with the pilot. But we certainly will keep doing the spoiler cast kinds of things like this with the Marvel shows. So you'll see at least me and Eric talk about Defenders and things like that. We are not going to commit anymore to a weekly live show. Because we have so many things we'd like to review and so much stuff we want to talk about. We just kind of want to start being a little bit looser with formats. So when things make sense to go live, we'll go live. We would like to do more discussion things and do GNNs, but I kind of want to take GNN back to, and I've been getting requests for this, I would like to take GNN back to what it used to be.
Get back to its roots.
Take it back to its roots. I mean, Vince won't probably be able to make it, but at least with Eric. And so Eric's good at GNN. He's good at it. Okay. But anyway, so we will still.
The next topic of GNN is why people don't love Joe Casey as much as I do.
The long and short of it is we kind of need our Sunday nights. So there will be
for Batmania mostly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a Sunday right now. There will be live shows here and there, but we're not going to commit, at least right now, to a regular weekly show. We'll see what happens. If we find that a lot of people really miss it, we'll revisit it. And we have a really great group of
regulars
that come for those.
And we'll do live shows here and there where we'll eventize the live shows.
Yes, absolutely. But you'll see those as events as opposed to every Sunday night we do one. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to mention and talk about. Do you have anything that I missed?
I don't think so. I'm also writing a novel. It's called 500 Blank Pages. It's very avant-garde.
He's not writing a novel, but
it's a page turner.
He's writing a comic book.
I am working on a comic book.
Yeah. But anyway, so if you would like to read part of my novel before it's published and before it's in anything like its final form, go to Patreon and pledge $15 for this month. If you would like to support us regularly, just $2 or a little bit more depending on what tier you would like to be at, and lots of fun things we're doing there for our regular patrons. Anyway, thanks a lot, folks. We sure appreciate it. We're excited to be back. We're going to start really experimenting with things and try to keep things as fresh and fun as humanly possible.
Is it good to be back?
It is. It is. It's good to be back. I'm not doing that voice. Thanks for watching, folks. We sure appreciate it. Feel free to leave your comments and give us any kinds of suggestions about shows you'd like to see happen more frequently, and anything else you would like to see on the channel or you'd like to see us try to improve upon. We always appreciate the feedback. In the meantime, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you, folks.